Thanks for joining us here on ESPN Esports. We are live on Twitch, and normally we would be waiting until 8 o'clock Eastern for our ESPN Esports Valorant show, but we had two special guests joining us for a special, I guess you can call it the show before the show, but actually the real show, because the guests of the hour, the men with the power, too sweet to be sour, 100 Thieves looking a little bit new these days in Valorant, and it all starts with these two individuals here. I'm talking about Hiko, the captain, and the new face of 100 Thieves, Nitro. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, first question. Let's get the really tough questions out of the way. Hiko, how's the internet?
It's great.
Good.
I can't even say it with a straight face. I've had so many problems, so dude, I don't know what to do anymore. It's time to move, I guess.
True. You've been having problems for like 6 years now.
Yeah, every time I have internet problems, people are just like, just move, forehead. Like, yeah, let me just move. Yeah, it's so easy.
You've had the most internet problems of anyone I've ever met. I don't understand. It's like it's
true.
It's a very feels bad man moment.
I have two different lines. I only have one company that offers internet where I live, and I have separate lines from that said internet company, and they're both bad. That's all. That's it.
Well, while we hope for your internet to get fixed at some point in time, companies, please work on this. Nitro, my first question is for you. You have new digs, you got new threads, you got a new game. How does this all feel to be with a new org, playing a brand new game? This is a new chapter in your career. How's it feel?
It's amazing so far. I just really want to compete and like get some matches under my belt, and I think from that point on, just keep learning the game. And I'm really excited, to be honest. Like, I'm actually super excited to get on every day and just play Valorant and like learn it and just stream. It's really fun. Honestly, there's like no other explanation for it.
Hey Nitro, this is Tyler Erzberger, Feel on Fire here. My colleague Arda did not introduce me at the beginning of the show. Hi guys, it's me. But hey, so I was covering your sweepstakes very, very closely from the time you kind of made the transition over. Teams started reaching out, and it was a influx of teams. So many teams reached out to you from what I heard. What was it about 100T that really brought you onto the team? Because it seemed like overnight it went from a bunch of teams looking at you to two teams, to then you were signed to 100T. So why did the sweepstakes end so quickly, and why was 100T your choice?
So just playing with Spencer again was the main point. It wasn't just like the org. Obviously, 100 Thieves is probably like one of the best orgs out there, if not the best. And the opportunity they presented to me was like we could build our own roster, and like that's never happened in Counter-Strike from my memory, and it's something really special. And like the fact that we can pick our teammates, and like depending on like what agents we want to play, it's just like a really special opportunity for me where we could start from scratch and really like show our potential as a team. And I think just me and Hiko as a core is super strong, and it's such a great opportunity. I couldn't pass it up.
For Hiko, then, what does it feel like to be reunited with Nitro, playing in a totally different game?
Feels great. I was on Liquid for about 2 years with Nick, and him and I would probably consider him, especially before and after Simple, he was probably my closest friend on the team. Maybe not during, but definitely before and after. And like we roomed together all the time. We always saw eye to eye. We always got along. We never had any kind of we literally, him and I never had beef. Like I said, we literally roomed together at events. So like I have a very close, friendship with him. And I think that it's very exciting to be able to reunite with somebody I've always respected. I've always saw was very good and very knowledgeable, at least at Counter-Strike, in a new game.
So this is good. I'm glad you brought that up, because we had thought that there might have been something just based on how Nitro had spoken to Jacob Wolf, one of our colleagues, in an article that's up on the website right now about just how the team was and like the nature of the team and how it might have been toxic, etc. So there wasn't any problem between the two of you at all, that you guys were always friends through and through.
Yes.
Yeah, there was never any beef. 100%. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good to clear that up. So Hiko, then, as Nitro was making this decision, how often did you guys talk? How often was Nitro reaching out and asking questions about 100 Thieves, and how often were you guys in communication?
Yeah, I think what Tyler said is pretty accurate. Like things definitely kind of went very fast. We were talking probably for about I'd say like a week, and we were talking like pretty much every night. He was asking questions pretty much every night, looking for wondering how things are going to work out, what's going to happen with 100 Thieves, the roster, me, street, what everything. And so I think that to me at least proves that his head is in it. He wants to win. He's fully focused on Valorant, and you know you get some people when you start talking to them about recruiting to the team. It's like you talk to them one time and then things out and go cold. Well, it never happened like that with Nick. It was always we're always talking. We're always like, hey, what about this? What about that? So yeah, it was very very back and forth.
Yeah, on the topic of that, I was going to speak a little bit. I was going to ask. I've been talking to people. I've been writing about the 100 Thieves, the original lineup, and it's been well chronicled that one of the reasons why you joined the team, Hiko, is because you wanted to create a team. But then obviously the Ignition series came out of nowhere. Really, 100 Thieves wanted to be in the first one. You kind of, I don't want to say saddled with, but the team was created around you with 4 really good players who were doing really well in scrims at the time. But now that that stage is over and you brought in Nitro, how excited are you to really finally build a team with Nitro? Like, is this how excited are you really that this is your chance to really build the team you want to build with it?
I am absolutely ecstatic. I think that, you know, like Nick kind of alluded to, this is not something you get the opportunity in Counter-Strike. This is not something that many organizations trust their players even to do, to have a lot of say in who they want to play with, to have a lot of say in, hey, we should look at this guy, we should look at this guy. So I think that it puts some pressure on us for sure that, hey, we have to decide kind of who we want to play with and who we think is the best. At the end of the day, we're not signing the checks here. We're not actually signing players. But yeah, we definitely have a lot of say in who we want. And I think I think I speak for both of us when I say it's very exciting, and it's something I'm really looking forward to, deep diving into and figuring out who exactly we want to play with, what roles are the best, what agents are the best, all that kind of stuff.
So obviously, I know the fans are going to be saying this because this kind of happened last time we did an interview together. Has Nadeshot and the 100T brass kind of told you guys, like, we're giving you time this time? Like, we're not in any tournaments. We didn't play. We pulled out of the gauntlet. We're not in the next Ignition Series tournament. We're giving you time. Like, has that been told to you by the brass that this is officially, like, they're going to give you time to create the roster that you guys think is perfect for the team?
Yes. I think we're a little time crunched the first iteration, and I think right now they're definitely giving us the time and the space within reason, of course. So yeah, I personally don't really feel any pressure on 100 Thieves right now to hurry up and be like, oh, we kind of need a team like, this week you need to hurry up. And I don't feel that at all. And, I think that that's really important that they give us time to, try people out, figure out who we want to play with, how the meta even develops over the next couple weeks, if not month to 2 months, and kind of see who starts looking more and more promising and who maybe doesn't anymore.
Nitro, let's shift focus to you and your development and in Valorant. Like, take us through some of the agents that you're enjoying playing, and also how you will fit into the eventual 100 Thieves lineup.
So the only role I know that I'm confident in right now is the IGR role, and I'm not really sure like what agent that is associated with. I've been practicing a lot of op. Been practicing rifling like in DMs and stuff like that. In terms of agents, I don't know. I think the Jet op is obviously really strong right now because you can get a kill and just like fall back like instantly. So it's really strong. So if I was gonna op, I'd probably play Jet. But other than that, I don't even know if I want to really op because I feel like what I bring to a team is the best support out there, and I think Jet's really not a support player. She's more like the fragger, the opper, the main op, like 90% of the time. So I'm not really sure. I'm kind of floating around with agents because I have time to really pick what I want, and like we're trying to build a team based on like what players we seek will fit like what agent, and So like right now, I've been playing a lot of Jet. I like the battle stage idea. I don't really like Sova too much, to be honest, and uh, I like Phoenix and just like the entry fraggers really, and then the Jet op is fun for me. So I'm still trying to identify what I want to play because we have time, and I think it's really important.
Was it important for you to remain IGL as you transitioned to Valorant? I know that you've done that for so many years in CS:GO. Was it important for you to remain as the in-game leader no matter what team you joined?
Yeah, I think so because switching from Counter Strike to Valorant is big and small at the same time. Like it's the same concepts as Counter Strike in terms of like map control, rotating, protocol, stuff like that. So I think I can really offer the most to a team right away with that role and my experience of having that role of being on the best team in North America and Counter Strike and stuff like that. So I think instantly the most value I can add to a team is being the in-game leader instead of being some raw entry fragger or opper. And I think I'll have the most impact like that. And also I like learning, and I feel like I've been watching a lot of YouTube VODs, like all the tournaments going on, the finals, what teams are doing, like how they're executing, what they're smoking, what they're mulling, what lineups they have. Also creating my own lineups with certain agents, and I like studying the game, and I think I can bring a lot to a team.
This is for both of you. You two are two of the most high-profile players to kind of move from the Counter-Strike global offensive scene to Valorant. Obviously, Nitro coming from Team Liquid, having just won the IEM Grand Slam last year. Do you feel like you are going to be an outlier of Tier 1 CS players moving over, or do you think other players might be looking at Valorant as well? Or do you think it's just you felt like this was your time, you don't think other players will do what you're doing?
I think it'd be pretty ignorant to say that CS players aren't looking at Valorant, especially considering like they saw me move. Especially like with all the COVID stuff going on, it's really bad with no lands, and I think everyone's feeling kind of stale on Counter Strike. So I think there's definitely a lot of players looking at it, even if they say they're not. I know they are. Um, and it's just like me. Like whenever I bench myself, I didn't know what I wanted to play. Obviously, Valorant was in my mind, but my first impression was like I wanted to play Counter Strike because it's my career, it's my job, and like I still think I can add a lot of value to different Counter Strike teams. And I don't really see an opportunity to join another CS team. So I was like, all right, let me see like what's going on in Valorant. It's a new game. It's similar to Counter Strike. I like the players in it, all the players that switched like from CS. I mean, and then like it's also cool like seeing all the different communities come together, like Apex, Fortnite, all these other games coming to Valorant. It's just like to me, it seems like it's gonna be really good and really cool, and all the different communities and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just it was a really cool opportunity.
Jumping off that, Hiko, let's say, as Nitro said, there are, CS pros looking to turn to Valorant. You were one of the first. You've become very successful at it, not only as a pro player, but as a content creator. What advice would you give those players who are kind of eyeing CS, eyeing Valorant at the same time, wondering if they should jump over the line and give Valorant a shot? What advice would you give them?
I mean, I think, like Nick said, a lot of the tier 1 CS pros have been playing, if not even streaming Valorant. So I think a lot of them have the feel for the game, but I think it's worth saying, like, a lot of the CS players are in for a rude awakening if they do switch and expect to be the very best right away. I think there's going to need to be some humble pie, and there's going to need to be some egos that need to be swallowed a little bit. You know, there's definitely a big skill gap right now in Valorant where, people that maybe weren't the most successful in CS are very successful in Valorant, and people need to just there needs to be a level of respect there. You can't just come in and be like, oh, this guy was, MDL in CS, he's going to be trash. Well, if you go against that guy and they bang your head, well, I hate to say it, but you're not just going to switch over and be the best player right away. So yeah, I would say like Counter Strike does feel very stale right now, especially with no lands. And even as a viewer, even as somebody who I did fully quit and I haven't played in a while, when I go back and I watch events, I just feel like it's I don't know. It doesn't really do it for me anymore now that Valorant's around, and now that there's like this whole other aspect of Valorant where this whole agent thing. There's different agents. You can play each agent differently. There's weird utility and weird ways that so many different ways you can think about the game. Where I think Valorant's actually more thought based than Counter Strike is. I think there's so many different opportunities to do weird and crazy things that you can't even get to that level in CS. There's too many layers in this game compared to CS. So I do think that people haven't really developed those layers yet, and then people, a lot of strats even from the top teams right now look kind of wonky at times. But I think eventually this will be the galaxy brain game, and Counter-Strike will be like, I don't know. I don't want to poop on Counter-Strike or anything, but yeah. So yeah, I think it's definitely something that pros are thinking about, and definitely something that if there are pros that are thinking, it's better to switch now than wait. I mean, they don't want to. They're already behind by. I've been playing the game for 6 months now. 6 months is a long time in esport. So, my only recommendation, like I said, if you're thinking about doing it, maybe think even harder, because the more you wait, the further behind you're going to be.
So that leads us to, let's talk about 100 Thieves and what it can possibly look like in the months to come. I'm sure you don't have any names that you can tell us publicly now, but, well, if you do, please tell us. Assuming you don't, though, and this is a question to both of you, maybe, Hiko, you can start with this one. What is the philosophy in putting this team together? How will you and Nitro and others approach putting together the remaining 3 roster spots for 100 Thieves Valorant?
Yeah, I think we need to consider a lot of different aspects of the roster. We need to consider, I feel like some rosters and some teams get too caught up in actual like specific agents and not enough about roles. I think at its most basic, this game does have a lot of similarities to Counter-Strike. There, you do need support players, you do need people that are lurkers, you do need people that are, those aggressive entry fraggers. So I think that is probably the number one thing that we are considering, is who is going to fit our role the best, who is going to have the play styles that's going to work the best for our team. And a lot of that comes into how Nick decides, or how Nick thinks about, how we're going to in-game lead, if we're going to be an execute based team, if we're going to be a really, aggro in your face team. So we're taking a lot of that into consideration. Unfortunately, I don't have any names to share right now, but let it be known that we're not just complacent. We're not just sitting around just kind of like waiting. We are actively talking to people. We haven't really scrimmed at all, because we're still in the early processes of just like finding out who's interested, who's possibilities, who might be considering switching from a different game, who might be considering switching from a different team. I mean, you just really never know. So we're in very early stages. We haven't actually scrimmed, but rest assured, we are definitely looking at anyone and everyone.
How many people, to both of you, and Nitro, please jump in here too. How many people reached out to you, slid into the DM, said, "Hey, I'm available. Hey, try me out. Hey, let's get some scrims in." Once they knew that 100 Thieves were looking for players.
It was mostly a decent amount, but it was mostly like Counter-Strike players who know me personally, and because I'm not too familiar with too many people who switched to Valorant from the, other games, because like a lot of people in this community know each other from like early beta playing this game, because everyone was trying to get like Valorant and stuff like that, because that was like the only way of really like showing your name in the early game and playing against each other in Valorant, like the 40-minute queues, like everyone just sitting in a queue, and then you get like some random kid and he just owns you, and you're like, wow, like who is this guy? And he's like, finite from like Apex or something. You're like, huh? Because like obviously like Counter-Strike players have a huge up when it comes to Valorant, like especially whenever you first transition. Like having those protocols and just like those general concepts of how to play out a round and clutch situation, because in my opinion, like the experience really shows the most in clutch scenarios, and like you want to always make your opponent make the mistake first, instead of you like turn the corner too fast, or like you peek an angle that's too close to a box and they see you first, for example, because that's how the game is, and people need to identify that, but many people probably don't know about that yet. So there's like a little thing. There's a bunch of things that you need to take into account when you consider players.
Yeah, a lot of people have slid into my DMs. That's all I'm going to say. A lot of people.
Do you guys have a timeline? Like, do you have a deadline on when you would like the team to be put together?
Within a couple months, I'd say probably. Yeah, that's probably fair to say. But even that being said, if it takes more than that, oh well. If it's shorter than that, great. I think me and Nick both would rather play now than wait a couple months. But at the same time, like I said, we're not rushing into anything. We're definitely not gonna make rash decisions super fast when, we don't really know the route we want to take yet.
I always like to ask. I always like to ask this when I have pros on because I know the Riot devs are always watching. They're always listening to what the pros are saying. So for both of you right now in the game, if you could change one thing about it, if you could tell the devs, "Hey, this thing needs to change now, or it's going to ruin my experience playing this game," what would it be for both of you?
I'll go first. I guess one thing that really bothers me is the killjoy mollies. I think they do too much damage. They're too big, and they also need to fix all the glitches. Because you can put, like, for example, the killjoy molly inside of the tire on bind at a site, and like you can't even see it. You hear it, you can't even see it, and it's like impossible to shoot. So they just essentially give like free damage to you. And I think they just like, and then the jet obviously is pretty strong right now. So if there's one thing I could change about that, it would probably be to not be able to dash directionally. So you can only dash whatever direction your mouse is facing or your cursor is facing. So you can only dash forward. That way, like, these ops can't get away for free and get early kills. That would probably be the two main things I would change.
Yeah, for me, the op. Let's figure out a way to keep these ops under control. It's not only frustrating, but it's boring to play against teams that double triple op. And there's literally like a lot of times there's nothing you can do about it. I think Jet only adds to that problem because she can get around. She can not only push for an aggressive pick and have no fear to get away by dashing back. She can go above smokes on maps like Haven, where she can go above on boxes. I think to me, the indirect nerf to the op is more utility, more ways to actually block off oppers. So and obviously Jet is a big one. If we're going on the Jet train, somewhere out there, Ninja is smiling at his screen right now. Let's fix the Jet ult a little bit. I feel like it's a little too powerful for a 6 ult orb, a 6-point ult. It's people that are really good with it. It's a shotgun in your hands. It's a fully accurate across the map. Maybe the right click isn't a full accurate across the map, but you can literally one tap someone across the map. There's no distance. There's no fall off damage. You can do it while jumping. You can do it while moving. You can do it while flying. You can do it through. It doesn't matter. So I think those are the two big ones for me.
And fix the sheriff.
And fix the sheriff too. Yeah.
I don't like the damage fall off. I don't like that.
One shot from anywhere. Yeah, one headshot no matter where you are. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
How would you fix the op? Would you make it more expensive or would you nerf the damage?
Neither. I don't think they can do either of those. It's already so expensive. And how can they possibly change the damage? They're not going to make it a 2-shot kill because then nobody would buy it.
Right.
I think it has to be either a limit thing where you can only have one, and even then that's like a band-aid fix. That's not even a fix to it. I actually think that it's just a design flaw of the game itself. I think it's literally the maps and the way utility is right now with the low amount of agents we have and the low amount of smokes we have. In a game like Counter-Strike, and I get a lot of people in my stream that say like the game isn't Counter-Strike. Well, I know it's not Counter-Strike. I'm comparing it to Counter-Strike, but in a game like Counter-Strike, you have 5 smokes that you can work with. You have 10 flashes in a round that you can work with. In this game right now, you can't really waste your utility without having a plan, because the second you waste your smoke or your one flash or one of your 2 flashes or your wall or your teleport, all of a sudden you're limiting the amount of you can do on an actual execute for your team. So you can't just throw away utility like you could in CS. You can't just flash for yourself, and you can't just jiggle peek a corner, because the way that movement works and the way that peeking in this game works, you can still just get killed. So I think that I think without more agents and without more utility, and with agents currently being able to get around smokes as easy as they can, like Jet, it makes it really hard for them to even have an answer to it. I actually don't know how they could fix it. I don't, without just adding more agents that just literally somehow stop ops.
Yeah,
like one agent's ult is just to get rid of ops entirely from a lobby.
Just give me a shield of this. I would honestly have more fun with a shield than just walking around a corner with no smokes, just getting off. Like, it's literally, I'm just dead. Done.
Sorry,
I
Nitro, we
was
cut
kidding,
you
by
off
the way.
there.
I was kidding, by the way. Do not give me shields. If
Yeah,
there's a-
please.
I was
Please
gonna
no.
say
No tanks, please.
no shields, yeah, please no.
I was gonna say like the one main like the biggest counter to me with an op is like the Sage slow. You can slow him and then say he gets a kill, he still gets traded. That's 4v4 for the attacking side, right? And that's really whenever the pick is on the attacking side, it's way better than getting a pick on the defense side. So like the thing like about the op too is like if Jet gets a pick, she can dash away 5v4 and untradeable, literally untradeable if they're good.
Yeah.
So the Sage slow essentially slows them, so they can't get away. They get traded easily unless they hit like a very small pixel angle and then you can't trade it. So I think like I was saying with the Jet op, I think the op isn't too overpowered in itself. I think the Jet just makes it look OP, because they can just get away for free. They pop out the knives. They get like an ace with one right click or some crazy stuff. But aside from that, I don't think it's too imbalanced. I think maybe I see people talking about like adding a scope sound to it, like it is in NCS. Maybe that would be good. Who knows? I don't really know what that would change, but it could be something.
I just think of a map like Haven where there's literally 5 different choke points. You literally do not have enough utility. There's not enough flashes and smokes in the game as it is to block every single angle. There will be an opening where an op will have a free shot at you. And if that op is Wardell, 96% of the time he's going to hit that shot. There's that chance that 4% he's going to miss, but I don't like those odds. And I don't think that I don't think that there should be a point in the game where you have that many like reliable chances to actually get a free pick.
You guys have been very generous with your time. I have 2 very, very quick questions, one for each of you. To Nitro, my last question to you is, now you're wearing 100 Thieves clothes. There's going to come a time when we can safely have LAN events again, and presumably you're going to be playing against Team Liquid. Have you given any thought about what that would look like, you being on the 100 Thieves side in a totally new game, facing the team that you had represented for several years?
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. There's no other way to put it. There's gonna be a rivalry there for sure. I'm not sure like what Liquid's doing with the picking up an NA team, but I think they should, and I think they should invest into Valorant. I think it's really good, and yeah, that would be interesting.
And Hiko, last question for you is, there's a lot of 100 Thieves fans in chat right now, and they're very excited about the 100 Thieves 2.0 Valorant chapter. What do you say to those people? What can they look forward to? Give them hope and inspiration. They've heard a lot in this interview on what will come, but leave them with something inspirational on what the future of 100 Thieves is going to look like in Valorant.
Okay, listen here, fans. Have some faith in me and Nitro. We're gonna do right by you guys. We might not have been the greatest of lineups before. We're gonna do our best to make a winning team and the best team that we possibly can. If you believe in me, I believe in you. Yeah, something like that.
You're going to make them say we like that, is what you're saying.
Any we like that's in the chat. That's what I'm gonna make them say, because they know how much I like to ask. Any we like that's. Any chatters.
Hiko and Nitro joining us here on ESPN Esports. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to seeing what the completed 100 Thieves Valorant roster will look like, and in the future, seeing you compete once again in future tournaments. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Appreciate it.